So, you want to do the intro, Jack?
I mean, where to start? Okay, so I got this message from you. We're just like, okay, we're gonna have this guy on the show, and like, so I looked up some of his stuff, and I noticed that the chat we had going on, it wasn't. What is his clown name again?
Skids.
Skids the clown. So I see that his YouTube channel, he's identifying himself as Skids the clown, and I'm just like, oh, there might be some actual clown stuff going on here that I might want to ask about. And right from the go, you're just like, so talk about being a clown. And I think we had a really fun conversation talking to Skids.
I am so intrigued with clownery. I don't know if that's a word, Jack.
I think that's a fair use of suffixes.
Thank you. So we kind of do a decent dive into the art of clown.
Yeah, yeah, surprisingly so, because it really doesn't have a whole lot to do with the like. I mean, if you watch the show, it's not like he's not. Is he clowning in his show? I don't know.
The show that he has over the TANG network, he is working with Jimmy, and he's not in clown makeup or anything like that. It's him just doing what he did here with us, just talking.
They do bits. Like
they do a lot of bits, and they do a lot of different characters too.
Yeah.
So you can see that there's a crossover of skills between his clowning skills, right? His clowning ability and what he does on camera.
Sure. Because that's where he got his education.
That's clown. We learned about clown college, the different types of clowns. All type. It was
fun.
This is a lot of fun.
I enjoyed our conversation immensely.
You're coming over to visit, I hear.
Yeah, I am going to be out there. Well, I'm actually. This is one of those East Coast things where I'm going out to Pennsylvania to visit my mom for her birthday, and while I'm there, I figure it makes sense to pop up to see my friends.
Sure.
In other parts of the East Coast, in the Boswash megalopolis, as they call it.
Yes.
Which is just one big giant city to try and see all your friends in when you have friends in Virginia and Pennsylvania and Delaware and Rhode Island and Massachusetts. It becomes a bit of an ordeal. It's kind of a labyrinth. It's kind of a grueling. It's almost like one of those endurance tests to go back east and see everyone who still lives back east. Because they've spread out through the Boswash Peninsula or Boswash Metropolis, and yeah, so it's a lot of I'm sleeping on this couch this night, this couch that night, this couch the other night, just to go see my mom for her birthday. So I love you, Mom.
Oh, how sweet! Wow, people with emotions. I don't know how you guys live with emotions, but my hat. I'm going to tip my hat. Gee, that's what. Fantastic. So yeah, we had a great conversation with Skids the Clown, and I think everyone's going to enjoy it.
I think so too.
All right, I guess we roll the tape.
Let's do it.
So Skids the Clown, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking.
I know we've just been geeking out over Bo Burnham special.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So I'm sure we would have covered this over with the the intro, but of course, Skids the Clown, co-host of No Faith Required on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. on the TANG channel, TANG network.
Faith not included is actually.
Faith not included. See, I speak words and sometimes they don't come out right.
You're fine.
So we've just been talking about comedy, and I have good information that you have quite a history with comedy yourself.
I do. Actually, I have never done anything as cool as like stand-up or anything like that. For some reason, I've decided that I was going to pursue the lowest form of comedic arts, and that is actually being a circus clown.
Oh, that's a slice of magic right there. And
it is.
What? Okay, so we got into the story late here. What brought you to Circus Clownery?
So actually, I don't think I ever really planned on being a clown. Naturally, I was born a clown. I've always used comedy as a way to get to know people, to be comfortable in my own skin. Kind of like my partner Jimmy Lou. Growing up, it's one of those things when you're the odd kid out. You use comedy to kind of deflect when people are, either making fun of you or you don't feel like you fit in, and you use it to your advantage to kind of break the ice. And when you're feeling awkward, you just embrace that awkwardness and you go for it. And that's kind of what comedy starts out as being, is just you handling awkward situations. So years go by, and I'm in my adult life, and I joined an organization that has a bunch of clubs and stuff like that. And you probably all heard of them. It's the Shriners. So I became involved with that group years ago. It had almost been 20 years ago. And again, never intended on actually becoming a clown. But one of the things that they do as a fundraiser is they put on a circus. And they have a group of guys that actually perform as clowns. And after being in the organization for a couple of years, I looked and it's like, you know what? That looks kind of fun. I never really thought I'd be really serious at it. All I was thinking is, oh yeah, you show up, kids take their pictures with you, and that's about it. That's all that's involved. So I got started, and like most guys, I didn't know what I was doing. So I actually went to a clown college. And yes, it's a real thing. Clown college exists.
I heard that Penn Jillette went to a clown college too.
Yes. You can do it. There's private clown colleges, which are just more like a business seminar. So it's not like an accredited school, but then there are accredited versions. Actually, like my local community college has a full-on clown college.
I want to talk more about the clown accreditation process.
Do the Chuckles transfer? That's what I want to know.
Being a council of clowns who decide whether or not you get clownship credits.
Well, basically, like most organizations, as long as your check clears, you pretty much get your credits. So that was what was most important for them.
Right, but they I mean, presumably, if the review panel is all clowns, they're going to make a show of denying or accepting that. Right?
Oh, exactly. So you mentioned that, and it's actually one of these bits that I do because, like, I actually teach clown college now. That's how good of a clown I am. Is that I've taken what I've learned and I teach it to others. And I mean, not to pat my own back, but I was so good when I went through clown college that I graduated in less than 30 minutes. Can you believe that? 30 minutes. No, after 30 minutes, the teacher put his hands up and says, "I can't teach you clowns nothing." And he stormed out of the room. So I assume I know everything he does.
Right. Right.
See, you said you make a production out of everything, and that's how you do it. But no, I mean, I've gone to like competitions. So they actually have clown competitions all over the country that I've participated in. And there you get judged on your makeup and costume. You get judged on like balloon tying. You get judged on doing magic tricks. You get judged on performing. You could do like skits or like what they call walk-arounds and stuff like that. And I just kind of fell in love with the whole art of it.
Well, walk-arounds for would that be equivalent to like crowd work for stand-up?
Yes, yeah. Exactly. So, like a skit is usually a rehearsed with, could be a couple minutes, one or two clowns, where a walk around is something like they usually judge is like, it's not going to take you more than 10 seconds. It's something that like if you were in a parade or at a circus and just walking through the crowd, you could take 10, 15 seconds to entertain somebody and then move on to the next person.
It'd be like taking a coin behind someone's ear.
Exactly. what I do for a walk around is my clown is like the sad clown. So like what you see from the old circuses from the 50s, the Ringling Brothers Circus. Most people know, I'm dating myself on my age. A lot of people our age know who Emmett Kelly is, or Emmett Kelly Jr. Red Skeletons. That's a very good example. That's actually the type of clown I am. So what I do is my walk around is, especially at Circus, I find like old thrown away cotton candy and I put it on my own homemade little selling tray. And then I walk around and sell slightly used cotton candy. But I go into a whole spiel where it's recycled because, that's what's cool today is recycling and stuff like that. And you can do it like for 5 seconds, or I can drag the bit out for like a minute.
So it's really found art. That's what you really.
Exactly. It is.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
yeah. We went to Cirque du Soleil in Vegas about a month ago, and the clowns in that are just show stealing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're what they call the Circus Soleil clowns are. They call them grotesque, and what that basically means is their makeup is like overly ornate. They're just beautiful makeup and clowns.
So what are the different styles of clowns? Are there different categories of clowns?
Yeah, there's 3 basic categories, and then there's some subsets of those categories. So the first and oldest type of clown is the traditional white face clown, and that's the solid white face with the big red smile, and that dates back. When we teach it, we say it dates back to ancient Greece, ancient Egypt. It goes back that far. Is like the court jesters used to put on a pure white face as they entertained. And let me explain the clowns, and I'll kind of go back because it'll make more sense if I do it this way. The other main class is what's called the Auguste. Now, the Auguste are the ones that have the flesh tone face and then the great big eyes, and then usually kind of have the big full wigs and everything like that. And that was, a European, mostly German invention from like the late 1500s, 1600s. So been around for a long time. And then the third main type is the sad clowns. And those are an American-made clown. They originate from the 20s into the Depression era and stuff like that. Charlie Chaplin was kind of
full circus act.
Yeah, exactly. Vaudeville had a big influence on a lot of these clowns, just as their act. And then they put it together with clown makeup and created this new character. So most recent clown, American-made clown, and took a while for people to accept that as a legitimate clown, but now they're seen as one of the top 3. And then you can split off because like the tramps, you either have the sad, depressed clowns or you have the happy clowns. And so it's tramp or hobo. And then you can go into there's character clowns where a character could be like a firefighter or, like a recognizable cliche in a way. And they could have any face they want.
All right. I know that we're about 10, 13 minutes into the show, and I can't believe we haven't touched on Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Absolutely. Which I love. I love those schlocky horror movies from the 80s. I think it's a funny movie. It is, yes, a problem that there are kids that are scared of clowns. And the weird thing is it's not so much the kids, it's the teenagers that really react to that. And like when the re-release or the remakes of It came out, there was this whole big thing about it. But honestly, to me, it's just another part of the art form. It's like a different genre, no different than music has, heavy metal and soft rock. It's the same art form, just different genres.
Right, right. Speaking about scared kids, how did you manage kids who were obviously afraid of clowns? That you thought that you were cool, you settle up to one, start doing your shtick, and then you realize that things are going sideways really fast.
It's pretty easy because one, when you kind of learn the art, you kind of learn the triggers right away. So you can actually look at a kid and it's like, okay, this one's going to be perfectly fine. This one's a little skittish. But if you do get in a situation where kids kind of starting to get scared and stuff like that, there's simple things you can do. One, you get down on like a single knee, you get down at their level. So it's eye level. And then you kind of recoil a little bit. So you kind of show that they're in control, and you soften your voice and you keep your hands tight against your body, and you look them right in the eye. But then when they do something, you look down a little bit and then you look up at them. That way you let them know they're in control of the situation. And those little steps just do wonders.
And that's what you get taught in clown college, or did you figure that out all on your own?
A little bit of both. I know that they explain kind of some of the basics, like, hey, when a kid gets scared, don't keep pushing at it, just kind of back off, get down on their level, and kind of get on one knee so that you're not this big imposing figure. But yeah, like the thing about looking down and kind of looking up at them, that's something I figured out on my own.
Right. When you were clowning around, say that's a stupid.
I know, I hear that all the time, so it's fine.
Yeah, I know that was horrible. Did you like working alone or in like a group of clowns?
I absolutely prefer to work as a group. Really, it's just the basic rule of comedy, where you have a couple guys that play really good off their strengths and weaknesses. So that's one of the things, like the different types of clowns, like the white face, they're usually the straight man of a comedy duo, where the goose is the kind of the wild card, or the as we call them, the goofball. They're the ones that throw the jokes, and it's funny when it happens to the straight man. The tramp characters can actually play either role. So it depends on whether they're working with a goose or a white face. They just can adapt.
But it's improv, right? Like all of your clown personas, and you understand each other's clown personas, and you understand how to play off of each other.
Right. I mean, we have like the basics of routines that we do all the time. So we know how to do this little routine, that little routine. So, it's basically just a framework. We know how to get from point A to point B of what joke we're telling or what we're doing. And then it's just we play off the kids.
The elephant's got diarrhea and we need to stall for time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you can find the stupidest things to just start as a base, and then you just let whoever you're entertaining kind of fill in the gaps. And then it's best when whatever you're doing is you react to what they are pitching you. So you wait for them to kind of feedback in what you start, and then you just keep going back and forth with the kids or the adults, whatever you're entertaining.
What don't people understand about clowns?
The big thing is, one, we're not all a bunch of drunks, just some of us. And two, it's really hard. It's not, I joke when I say it's the lowest form of comedy, but it is actually. A skilled clown has to put a lot of effort into it. And it's really expensive to do what you do if you do it good. Like, a clown costume, a good clown costume can cost you thousands of dollars. Yeah. A pair of clown shoes, the big oversized shoes, they can run you $500. Wow. Just for one pair of shoes. And just like every other shoe, the more you wear them, the more they're going to wear out. So it's not a one-time expense. So there's definitely, the birthday clowns and then there's the real performers. And the guys that are real performers that have studied the art, who have made an investment in getting a good costume, that have put time in their routines. These are working professionals. These are people that actually are doing it as an art form and not just for a quick paycheck.
Right. Dude, can you juggle?
I cannot. So I did not take juggling as my minor. Again, I am a tramp clown, which means I don't do all the schmancy stuff that a white-faced clowns are usually the ones that juggle. But I am actually very, very, very good at making balloons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can make like over 900 balloon animals. They all look like dogs, but no. Actually, I'm really, really good at balloons. So that was kind of the thing that when I started, I really enjoyed doing the most. So I put a lot of time learning that. I'm also really good at what you call clown magic. Now, clown magic is like regular magic, but with a very comedic twist.
Yeah.
So generally, when you do clown magic, it's still magic, but something messes up, and it's meant to be fun.
Right. So what's your favorite magic trick?
Without giving away the trick,
Right.
which is the hard part, we have what they call a change bag. A change bag is basically a bag that you put different things into, and it either disappears or changes into something else. And you can start with a handkerchief or something like that. Ping pong balls, all kinds of stuff you can work with this. And you can entertain a room full of people with just that one magic trick, a couple of hankies, and you will never run out of things to do with it.
Right.
The other one is the metal cup with the balls, where you can always say, okay, you put it in the cup and say, all right, which cup is the ball under, and just do that. Again, there's so many different things you can do with that. It's a pretty basic trick. Most clowns learn it right away, but there's a reason. It's because it works.
I think most magicians learn that right away too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If it's not so much about the magic trick, it's about the routine and that you sell the trick.
Learning how to do misdirection. That's what's great about
exactly
and 3-card money and all of those kinds of games. Yeah,
exactly.
With your character that you play when you're a clown, do you speak?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the situation. Like when I do a competition, I do not speak at all. Because generally when you do a competition, there's not a lot of kids or people to entertain. They're more focusing on your actual, when you're being judged, which is just usually you or a partner out there working. So then I pretty much play the traditional character. So I don't speak. And sometimes if I do need to speak, I'll actually use a clown horn and speak through a horn, which is acceptable for my character. And it's easier to portray with the makeup. I definitely just walk around and I got the puppy dog eyes because my eyes get real big and you just like that. And it's all about the look more than anything else. 90% of the time when I'm working as a clown, absolutely I speak. And I have a couple friends that I work really well with. To describe my character and the way I speak, it's easy to say, if you've ever watched SpongeBob, my character literally is Squidward.
Oh.
That's what I go for, is I try to sound just like the cranky next door guy who's not the cool guy, and just, make fun of the other clowns and try to act like I'm so much better than everybody else, even though I'm the complete idiot of the group.
Can you give us a little bit of a couple of lines in the voice?
Well, my voice doesn't sound like Squidward, but like one of the things I do is generally I go out there and you start talking to the kids, and it's like all these kids are getting there and they're getting ready for the circus itself, and it's like what they need to do is they got to sit down and they got to actually start, behaving, because we're not going to start this show until you all sit down. And it's like, hey, I see you there. No dancing. There's no. I'm looking at you, so it's not exactly.
Yes, it's a grumpy, curmudgeonly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm getting the vibe. It's great.
I like it.
That's great.
But yeah, I have a lot of fun doing that.
Were you a theater kid in high school?
Yeah. So I took drama. I went to a very small school, so it wasn't like some of the drama clubs that like a lot of major schools have. But we did kind of like a drama competition. So I did several plays that were performed at the school. We actually did where we traveled to other schools and do, the drama competitions where you do a play and then they're judged. But we only did that like once a year. So it wasn't quite what some schools do.
Sure. That must have primed you or gotten you ready for
In a way, we never did any comedies. Everything was always pretty serious, but it got me over my stage fright pretty well.
Yeah, that's
and good. Yeah, and it's funny to say that I'm actually a pretty big introvert, so it's actually kind of hard for me to get out and perform. I got to actually mentally prepare for it.
Yeah.
And even to this day, as long as I've been doing this stuff, it's hard to, even coming on, YouTube shows like this, but it's a little easier, to be honest, when you do it as a clown, because you get that makeup on and you get that costume on and you literally transform yourself. So it's a little easier to get out in front of people because it's almost like you've become somebody else.
Oh yeah. I can see how that would be a good method of avoiding stage fright and just getting into the role, because you literally look like another person.
Oh yeah, and my face actually, I do a pretty good job of being able to emote, especially with the makeup on, because you put your makeup on, like you identify like the parts of your face that move. So then you kind of put like your edges of your mouth and your eyes where you can actually emote really well. And so when I'm putting up makeup, I will actually start, getting that permanent frown on my face, just because as soon as I see it hit my face, my brain is actually going into character.
Right. When did you know that you were funny?
I'm still waiting for that moment to get that validation.
Right.
I will let you know, it may be a while, but yeah, I don't know. I don't actually think I'm funny myself. Now, apparently, shameless plug, I've started working on our show, Faith Not Included. I've caught the attention of Jimmy Lou, which he's been on the show. You should know him because God, all he does is talk about how great Andy Hall is. And it's like every day. And it's like we try to get work done on our show. And he spends like 20 minutes every time just gushing about you, how much he likes working with you. And it's like, it's like maybe you should work with Andy instead of me. But anyway,
Trent, I just want to share something, and I felt guilty about this. And out of this guilt, I feel like I should share this with all of you. This is something that Jimmy sent to me earlier today.
Yeah.
It says, "Dearest Andrew, it has been far too long since our last interview. I miss you, and promise no matter what I tell Skids, you're my best friend. Just don't tell him that because he gets jealous easy. Lots of love."
See,
I never say anything like that. I always say stuff like, "You're not even the only Andrew Hall I know."
See, I knew he was going behind my back and seeing other hosts. It doesn't surprise me. But no, apparently I must be doing something right in the comedy, just because I got his attention and him and I have been working together for, I guess it's about 2-3 months now. I'm losing track of time, but I mean, I make him laugh. The two of us actually do pretty good coming up with stuff. We work well together, and people keep saying that our show's pretty funny. So I guess that kind of helps validate it.
You know, Skids, there's one more thing I should share with you, because it is somewhat, I do feel I have a guilty conscience, and this is what he also sent me after he sent me the letter.
Oh my God. See, where did he get that picture? That's such an old picture. Look at how young we were in those days. I always knew he had an eye for you.
So how did you guys meet? How did you guys cross paths?
So this goes back to if anybody kind of remembers when it was the Empathetic Atheist show.
Yep.
So Justin Downing used to have the Empathetic Atheist show. He recently converted into Islam and has changed the name of his show. But I had hung out with Justin and Wes Sturdivant for a long time. And Jimmy and Wes were friends.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd ever really talked to Jimmy before the whole thing with the EA show kind of broke up and Wes went his own ways.
Can I just get a weird point of clarification on that? Like, did they started believing in a deity, or they are some form of atheistic Islam that I am?
No, he literally, what he says is that he was convinced that dualism is the most logical and coherent viewpoint they have. So he was an atheist who switched his point of view to a dualist, and then kind of from there he realized, in his mind, that Islam was the only coherent way that he could reconcile that belief. So he is no longer
an atheist
in any way.
Sort of Schrodinger's caddy, God both exists and doesn't exist at the same time.
No, he is full on into the belief that a deity not only exists, but it is necessary for the universe to make sense. So, but when
I'm sorry, this is the most surprised I've seen Jack for a while.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm just trying to wrap my brain around it. All right,
I know
all of this. I've been over in Satanville doing.
Jack works for the Industrial Satan Complex.
So. Oh, okay.
In my radar at all. So, but
yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's an interesting conversion, but when we kind of all were looking for a new place to go, I was hanging out with Wes, and Wes said, "Hey, I know this guy, Jimmy Lou, and he's a comedian, and he's looking for somebody to do a show or some bits or something with." And we decided that we were going to join Oz over at the TANG network. Yeah. And I put a show together. And so Wes just kind of got me in contact with Jimmy. And I did a couple shows without Jimmy. And he was like he goes, "Hey, can you show this bit on your show?" And so I helped him put these videos together. We showed these bits, and they were great. They honestly were funny, and they went well with the show. So I brought him on. It's like, "Dude, you want to co-host a show with me and just see what happens?" And so I brought him on a show, and the two of us just had a ball. It was hilarious. And right there, we both knew it's like, okay, we've got something, special here. The chemistry is already there. We have very similar points of view. We enjoy talking about the same things when it comes to secular humanism. So pretty much the rest is history from then. How
do you guys get on the same vibe? Do you wait to see what comes out of his mouth and then yes and it, or how does that work?
Oh, no. Honestly, the two of us, and this, do you know anything about the Carol Burnett show? I know this.
Oh yeah, I love that. Grew up.
Okay, so my brain is not working. I can't think of their names.
Tim
two
Conway?
gentlemen, Tim Conway and Dabney Coleman, used to literally go on the show trying to out funny the other one in a very, very loving, friendly competition. They would actually try to see who would crack first and laugh on show. That's almost the way we approach it, is that we just start pitching ideas to the point where the other one starts laughing, and then we know we've got something.
Oh, wow. That's a good model to use.
Yeah. And I mean, we were on Atheistic Edge, I believe, Atheist Edge over the weekend. I hope I got the name of the show right. But anyway, we were on his show, and there was something Jimmy threw out there that just I lost it in the middle of the show and had to take a moment because I was laughing too hard.
That's great, man. That's great.
Yeah, I hope the audience enjoys it.
Yeah. I was actually starting to watch a bit of that, and then I got sidetracked with a Larry David special, a Larry David documentary, because ADD, and I get
exactly
distracted very quickly. Did you grow up in a religious household?
No. So my parents, I don't know if I would even classify them as religious at all. I do think that they believe in something, but I've never seen my parents in a church for a service, other than, possibly a funeral or a wedding. I kind of know a little bit about something where they had a falling out with the church that their parents went to, and just decided they weren't really interested in finding another church. So I grew up without religion whatsoever. Now, my grandparents were very, very religious. So I was exposed to it even as a child, but it always seemed to be very distant. And I remember, like, when they would come over for holidays, they would always want to pray, at the dinner table before we ate. And I always thought that didn't make sense. It just seemed weird. It just seemed unnecessary. So I was never at any point convinced. The only thing I always say about my childhood is I grew up in a very religious area. So it was all around me. I was completely aware of the idea of religion, and the fact that I never had that connection, and I knew it. I knew that there never was like a personal experience, or I never sensed that there was something out there. I always was like, this does not really make sense with reality. I always felt that there was something wrong with me, because it was like, why does everybody else claim or feel this connection and I don't? And I played nice. I never really said, well, I think your ideas are stupid. I just, it was kind of the smile and nod type approach. It's like, oh yeah. But yeah, I grew up and just never really had any kind of religious experience, which is good because I've never had the fear of death and hell instilled into me.
Yeah, I don't know if this is too personal of a question, but since this is recorded, we can always cut this later. Right?
Sure.
So have you ever had times of let's call them altered states of consciousness where you thought it might maybe be a religious experience, and then you remembered you were just on drugs?
No. I've never had an experience related with any kind of substance that I would have interpreted as supernatural. And I mean, I don't know if I'm blacking out something or don't remember an experience, but every experience that I've had, I would say never felt like it was connected to anything beyond reality. It was just, I understood that I was in an altered state. I just want to
clarify the point.
Yeah.
But it's not just, a chemical thing. There's
exactly.
More going on.
Do your parents know that you're godless?
Yes. and they know this because they've seen shows I've been on. I don't talk about it a lot in front of my parents, just because they're a different generation,
Yeah.
Even if they're not religious, I think they want to believe that there's something out there, and that there's something after they pass away. And I don't know if I'm really comfortable on taking that away from them.
Right.
That's up to debate whether that's the right thing to do. But since they're really not affiliated with a religion, and since the whole idea of this religion says this, that we need to persecute these people, they're not involved in any of that. I'm almost okay just not to breach the subject with them.
Sure.
But
sure.
They've seen me talk about this. They've seen me say a lot worse on some of the shows I've been on. So yeah, they know that I have very little belief. Now, my friends, I have a lot of friends in real life. I do not bring it up ever.
And I was just about to ask you what it's like to have two secret identities, because you have the whole atheist thing that sometimes you may not be comfortable about talking to people about, but you're also a clown.
The clown thing's easy because
the clown. So you lead off with the clown.
Yeah, you lead off with the clown because then, they're already, most people are already terrified of you by then. That way you say, when you're an atheist, it's like, oh, I thought you were going to say something else. No, it is kind of hard because it's one, you get in conversations, people just assume that everybody is a believer in God in some shape or form. Especially where I'm at, it's just assumed. And again, it's part, I don't want to step on their beliefs because that's not my goal. I'm not here to tell you, no, you can't believe in it. My main passion and why I do, the videos and stuff like that is, one is to get people over like the fear of hell and stuff like that. And two, just, to make sure that religions and people who use religion as a cover up for their bigotry are not passing laws that step on the rights of other people. That's my only passion. Honestly, if you want to believe in a religion, and I shouldn't say that because it's not about wanting. You either believe something or you don't. You don't have a choice on it. This is not about wants. But if you believe in something, I'm not here to shit on your belief. I don't believe it, and I'm not convinced. And so I just find it easier not to bring up the subject.
Do you have a crazy story that you can tell us without incriminating yourself about a time that when you were actively doing clowning?
Oh, I gotta sort through them because there's like quite a few.
Sure.
So we do a lot of different circuses over the years, and when we're at Circus, the one that we do that's local in my area, it's like a 5-day event, and we get kind of in this what we call Clown Alley. It's where we put our makeup. You spend about 5 days there, and you're in this very small area living with like a bunch of other clowns, and you get a little stir crazy. So what we like to do, and this doesn't sound like a crazy thing, but sometimes we like to go out to like one of the local hospitals and entertain the kids while we're in makeup. So we decided we're going to go up to the hospital, and there's this one clown that was hanging out with the group, and I'm not going to say names or anything like that, but there was this one clown who was like the typical drunkard, just I'm here because this is like a free meal ticket and stuff like that. And I don't even know how he passed to get into the organization, but he's there. And so he decides that he wants to go with, and we're trying to get out of him going with. But he says, well, I'll drive. It's like, okay, well, it's snowing outside because it's the middle of winter. And we get in this van, and it's a van that's like a old 70s ambulance. And it's already creepy. And we loaded it up with a bunch of clowns. And in the back, there's a mattress and a bunch of alcohol bottles, like a full bottle of vodka and tequila and all this. And
so if you get pulled over by the people from cops, it is not going to look good.
What are you going to do if you whip open this van door and you got a mattress full of clowns and alcohol? Oh, and that's what he's driving around, and it's in a snowstorm, and it's all erratic and stuff like that already because of this. And the guy's just an idiot. And we're going, God, how are we going to explain these mug shots? Because they're going to pull us over and they're going to whip open the door and the bottles are going to flop out and the mattress is going to be there. And
that's,
so we're just
that's the worst case scenario. The snow's really bad. And there's the story about the pack of clowns where they had to eat one of their own.
Well, see, clowns, that's a misconception because clowns don't eat each other because we all taste funny.
Well played.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, we're just rolling in as we're going to this hospital thinking this is exactly why people don't like clowns. This situation is literally how like the next version of it starts.
Picture like, the episode of ER that is a bunch of clowns being brought in for frostbite.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I've seen that episode. That's
I don't
way
think
too
that's
serious.
An episode, but it could be.
Yeah.
So Skids, tell me what you've learned by doing this show with Jimmy.
I've learned to have a lot of patience because there's only so many times we can talk about horse steroids. He definitely has a infatuation with horse steroids right now, and I don't know what. I mean, it's terrible because now he's got me involved in all these groups. Today I've got an email. Here's an email here, and it's like, have you or a loved one taken horse steroids? We'd like to enroll you in a class action lawsuit. And then like the next email, it's like, we're trying to contact you about your horse steroids extended warranty. I mean, so now I'm getting all these weird messages. So seriously though, I don't know. He's a brilliant writer. I wish I could write it as well as him. He's teaching me a lot of that. Other than that, I think we both just work well with each other. So it's kind of a give and take. Hopefully he's learning some stuff from me too.
I'm going to break the news. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Joe Rogan has COVID. Speaking of voice.
Oh, you're not kidding, are you?
I'm not. This is true.
Oh my goodness. No, I had not seen that yet. People watching the show, I do not celebrate anybody going through health issues or any kind of hardship. But this is fantastic
got a lot of
news.
Money on not taking a day off.
We literally just covered a story about him talking about COVID and vaccines not even a week ago. So the irony is so delicious right now.
It can't. It's gonna be like the rabbit and Meet the Feebles.
Exactly.
Fantastic. So Skids, we're heading down to the end of our time. Is there a question you wanted us to ask you, but we didn't get around to? Was there a topic you wanted to touch on? And we're going to talk about the conference too, by the way, because I know we should talk about the conference.
Yeah, so I'll skip that one because that was definitely on the top of my list. You never asked me how I can be, obviously so funny, so handsome, and so talented at the same time, and if that's a burden. I don't know if you want to ask that now or.
Were you bitten by a radioactive clown by any chance?
Radioactive, if I was lucky. He definitely didn't look clean. So I'm keeping the fingers crossed. I haven't gotten any superpowers yet, so I don't think radioactive was the issue.
Right.
No, other than that, I think I'm pretty good.
Cool, man. So talk about the conference that TANG is running.
So as of right now, we're still hoping that Jimmy can make it, because with the current, surge in Delta cases, he's Canadian. If you couldn't guess, I mean, you just look at him and you can tell he's a Canadian. But right now they've got the border shut down. I'm hoping Jimmy gets to make it, but otherwise it's still going to be a great time. It's October 9th and 10th. And it's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. What we're doing is basically, it's like a meetup. It's all about just getting atheists and secular humanists and other forms of non-believers. And heck, if you're a believer, you're more than welcome to. We're not excluding anybody, but we just want to get a bunch of people together. We're going to talk about community. That's the important thing. So it was one thing, especially those who have left religion or are looking to leave religion. One of the things they talk about the most is fear of losing connection with people, or fear of losing that community. So we want to bring together a community just like what the churchgoers have. Yeah. And the other part, the name of the conference is
not
better.
Just like.
Well, not just
without the passive aggression.
Yeah.
Keep whoever makes the good potato salad.
Plus, we can drink, and we're proud of it. We can drink. We can maybe do some other substances. I don't care. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, just keep it to yourself, because what we don't know can't hurt us. But the name of the conference is Better. And the reason Oz chose that name is that better is a great way to talk about what we want to be. We want to be better. We want to, just like you said, we want to have a better community. We want to learn how to better communicate with others who don't agree with us, and better explain what we do believe. So that's the whole point. And that's where we get into like our guest speakers. And we have, forgive me if I forget anybody's name on our list, but we've got, Seth Andrews. Most of you have probably heard of Seth Andrews. Kind of a big deal. But Seth Andrews is going to be there. Dr. Josh, who's, very frequent around the TANG network. Then David Warnock, who's the author of Dying Out Loud. Very inspirational. Anthony Magnabosco, Cynthia McDonald, T-Jump. Yeah, most people know who T-Jump is. So we've got some big names. So we've got people that's going to draw you in, but it's not just about hearing the speakers. It's about getting together with your fellow atheists and having a good time. So if you can make it, reservations are available. You can go to any of the shows on the Atheist Network group, and the links are in there. The reservations have different tiers, so you can get into just see the presentations, or you can pay a little bit more and get more stuff, which includes maybe even getting a chance to sit down and have a meal with Seth Andrews. Can you believe that? Plus, you get to hang out with me and hopefully Jimmy and all the rest of the TANG gang. So that's what we're trying to put together. This is our first time. We want it to be a blast. We want it to be fun. And we want you to learn something. That's the most important thing.
That sounds like a grand time. Sounds like a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Well, where can people find you online, brother?
All right. You can find me mostly on the Atheist Network group. It is on YouTube. It is basically a channel where there's multiple content creators putting on shows. My show, and it's not just mine, there's this other guy on it called Jimmy, but our show is Faith Not Included. It is the show where we talk about crazy conspiracy theories and Christian claims. And that's every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central. Otherwise, you can find us on Facebook under Faith Not Included, or you can find me and Jimmy under our other Facebook channel, which is the Church of Heretics.
Yes.
Which is kind of Jimmy's big project, but the two of us are now working on that to make that more of a thing. And you're going to see a lot of great content out of the Church of Heretics. So if you never subscribed before, definitely look it up. I promise you're going to have a good time.
Excellent. Jack, you got anything coming up, brother?
Nothing that I can really. I don't think that there's much I can say other than Satanic Estate is still doing Temple every Tuesday, and we've got stuff coming up for Halloween. I don't think we have tickets available for that yet, though. We're going to do something every weekend in October. It's going to be fun.
Sounds like a blast.
Devilish fun. That's what it'll be.
Oh, it's going to be
fun. Well, Skids, thanks again, man.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Ooh.